Okay. Hey everyone, how you going? Welcome to episode 3 of Everyday Heroes, Insights from Parents and Experts. Today we have a lovely friend, someone that I absolutely love to call friend. I'm just going live over here. Um, she is someone that has helped me so much through our homeschooling journey, and it's been something of it is a journey, right? It's not easy, it's hard, and you doubt yourself all the time and you're not sure. And I wish I could turn around to you and say, I've got it in the bag, I know everything there is to know about teaching. Wrong. Not the truth, right? I have worries and concerns that I'm not doing enough, as I'm sure other mums are, when it comes to teaching my child the things that he needs to know in order to be a contributing member of society. So here we have the lovely Amy Herzog from Spark Joy with Amy. She has been pivotal in our journey, and I can't wait to have a bit of a chat.
Great. Yay. Thank you. And hi, everyone. So nice to be here and share our journey together.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what led you to start Spark Joy with Amy.
Thanks for asking. Let's see. So Spark Joy with Amy really took root in during the quarantine when kids couldn't go to school, and I left the school setting. I did not want to teach with a mask on, and I just knew that was going to be like too much. So I took a step away from the school environment and I did pods that year, and it was a blast. So I was private tutoring small groups of kids and just taking them from, we did some amazing thematic units and whatnot. But then they went back to school. So I was like, okay, so we did a hybrid, a little tutoring and a little bit of school. And then my son was turning 18 and financial things were changing with that. And so I needed something else. And I started to just do private tutoring altogether. It has changed my life. It has completely transformed the way that I teach and the way that I see kids engaging in learning. It's been transformational, and I'm so happy. I had no idea what I was venturing out on, and it's just been the best.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. And I can see how much your face changed completely when you were talking about it and how much you loved it, because it is. And I think that for so many people, the lockdowns really made us look at what was going on and how we wanted to change our lives and how we wanted to improve them and do the things that we really love to do that we weren't doing. So I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Okay, can you share with me what are the learning styles?
Yeah, so one of the first things that I tell families that are starting out on their homeschooling journey, or they're working with their child and maybe they're getting some resistance, I want them to really look and see their child for who they are. One of those things that we can do is look at, how do they best learn? What is their style? I remember when my late husband and we had completely different styles of approaching books. I was like an avid reader, flip the pages, and he was an audio reader. He
Mm.
needed to hear it. So just that alone, right? Like, we all have different ways that we access information. And so wanting to look at your child and how did they access information. So some of the ways might be through movement. Maybe you have a little active body and they need to be on the move. If you make them sit still, that's literally all they can think about, is having to sit
Mhm.
still. So there's no learning going on. So they
Yeah,
need
definitely.
movement. Maybe they need tactile. They really like to touch and pull and play and prod. Maybe music is a way that they learn. I know I still remember things from my childhood, thanks to Schoolhouse Rocks. Like, I can tell you the
Exactly.
states of America, or conjunctions or whatnot. And others are visual learners. They need to see pictures. We can't just show them print or talk at them. Um, Two other considerations are, what is the environment that best suits your child to learn? Do they need a lot of activity and loudness, or do they need it to be quiet and just other distractions off to the side? Um, and then do they need like a fast clip, like, ooh, what's next? What's next? Or do they need their time and take it slow and really just be able to process and not feel hurried? those are some things just at the foundation you want to check in with your child. How do they learn best and what environment really suits them? What have you found, Natalie, for your little
Yeah,
guy? What environment suits
yeah.
him?
Yeah, definitely. So for us, movement is a really big component in the way that he learns. So I will often set up obstacle courses. I will often get him to run up and down the house to do different things. Sometimes I'll get him, oh, now I'm going to totally butcher this, but like, you know, how you do like a wheelbarrow. So you're lifting up his legs and he's
Yeah.
walking forward.
I love
So, you know, just that sort of input makes it easier for his brain to work. Now, I've shared this story many times, but you know, when we were in a mainstream setting, it was really difficult for him to sit down. So obviously, in a special needs school, there was no dramas. Kids were moving around all the time, and it wasn't such a big deal for teachers to look at that. But in a mainstream setting, a lot of neurodivergent children find it really hard to sit still. You know, cross your legs, don't touch, don't move. You know, be quiet and just concentrate. They find that so incredibly hard.
absolutely.
And I remember one time we were out somewhere and we were out at an event and I got my angel boy he had to sit at this table and we had to for a specific traditional blessing with a priest.
Mhm.
And he sat there for I think it was probably like 40 minutes. And but when it finished, he literally just started crying. And I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Right? Because it was so hard for him to sit there and actually just not move, right? And I just think as you know, as kids, we need them, they need to move. They need to be able to move to in order to take in the information. So definitely movement is one. Definitely loves music, is definitely attracted to music, and then he's very much a visual learner as well. So we've got a lot of visuals around our house, around you know with the like learning words or sentences and stuff like that. So I have definitely found that that has been our best way to learn. Okay, did you want to
You've
add
done a
anything else
great,
to that?
just real quick, I noticed that you do a lot of that with like grocery lists or your schedules and things like a picture representation really helps guide him so he can see sequentially what's coming next.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that for term 4, I'm just about to make a whole bunch of other visuals just to help with what the day looks like. Because we're going to include a lot more typing, a lot more writing, a lot more of other bits and pieces. And for the folks that are listening at
That's
home,
incredible.
this is the sort of the conversation that I would normally have with Amy. I have definitely sought Amy's guidance in a lot of different things because she does help a lot of homeschooling parents, and so being able to I guess rough it out and really flesh it out with her to say, okay, these are the problems, this is what it looks like, how do I best tackle this? And it's really good to be able to use Amy as a soundboard to be like, okay, I'm checking in here, what does this work like? How about over here, what does this look like? Yeah, it's definitely helpful to have someone in that space to be able to do that. Okay, so can you share with us what is incremental learning?
Yeah, so incremental learning is the concept of teaching your child in small increments that feel comfortable for them. Now, we don't want it over abundant and we don't want it to be understimulating, right? So we don't want it to be a bore or a chore. We want to work on that Goldilocks of just getting it like just right.
That's
So
right.
they want
Yeah.
more and more, right? We want to build for our child and not try to trick them or I don't know, just make these unnecessary hurdles for them. So what I do is if a child is at the letter stage, we're working on just a few letters at a time. Maybe
Mhm.
work on some words. If they're at the sentence stage, I might break it down so it's just a sentence or two at a time. A lot of my kids are actually great readers. And when I say my kids, I'm talking about my private tutoring practice. They're but they
Yep.
get really overwhelmed with a whole page of words. It's just like brain shut down. So when we
Yep.
take it out and we do small increments, a couple sentences at a time in a game, then they read with ease and with joy and they feel successful. So building in that success helps them feel confident, ready to take the next step. Stretch them a little bit with support, but don't just flood them and overwhelm.
Yeah, definitely. And can you, just for the parents who are unsure, what is decode? What does that mean? What does decoding
Oh,
mean?
yeah, I love that. Thank you. Sometimes our language is, technical. Decode is just to break the code of reading. So when you see CAT, you know that it says cat. And in
Mhm.
the initial stages, they might be sounding that out letter by letter. Cat, cat. So decoding is just like breaking that down and then blending it into a word. So yeah, being able to read.
Yeah, definitely. And I know for my son that when he reads, I've noticed that he's not a big, oh no, I've lost my words. He's not sounding out the words. Like he's just
Mhm,
looking at the word as a whole and seeing, okay,
mhm.
well, if there's a C and then there's an A and then there's a T, well, that must mean that it's cat. And I've memorized that word means cat. Is that
Yes.
common in a lot of the kids that you teach?
Yeah, I feel that there's like two different camps. Some kids just see patterns and they see like language as structures and they just see like
Mhm.
the they see it like pictorially,
Yep.
and they're just able to know, and others have to work through the progress of sounding out. So it's both are just really common, and whichever your child does is great.
Great. Okay. Perfect. Okay. What are the best kinds of games to use in order to teach a neurodivergent child?
Yay! That's my favorite question. All
Yes.
games.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what has really just launched in my private practice is I am finding ways to turn every game into a reading game. So you can show me all these minute to win it games or whatever, and I'll be like, ooh, how can I put that to to a reading game? And so I have, for your listeners, I have put a few freebies out. So there's like a board game, bingo, other one called Race to the Top. So things that you're like rolling the dice. But you can turn literally any game. I've been doing air hockey, Connect Four, Keepy Uppy, where you like toss the balloon back and forth. I
Yeah.
will put anything to a game. So, some ideas, card games. If you make, and I'm a huge proponent of index cards. Index cards are just these little, I can pull some out right
They're
here.
like the recipe cards that what we would use, the old school recipe cards that you would use to write
Yes.
recipes in. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I have some that are colorful right here. There's also white ones, but so I write a lot on index cards. If you make two sets of index cards, so let's say you're going to do at words or something, and you do cat, cat, mat, mat, hat, hat, fat, fat. So two sets, you're going to have 5 games that you can play. You can play memory, where you put them upside down and turn them over and try to find the
yeah.
match. You can play go fish. You can line them up on the floor and make a like a life-size game board where your body is moving along. Um,
Yep.
and a couple more. I have it actually. I've made this to sell in my store, so you're welcome if you want to learn more about index card games. So easy, and they're on sale right now. So card games are great, but what I love about that is it's easy prep, quick prep. 2 sets of cards, and you got 5 games. You can keep practicing those words until they master them,
Yep.
which we'll talk about in a minute. Board games. I'll put words on a board game, write the words in the board game. Or if we're doing sentences, I'll write a sentence on a card, however many words are in the sentence, like the cat is happy. 4 words, they get to move 4 on the game board. Things
Nice.
like that. There's kinesthetic games for those of you who have kids who need to move. Really important. I'll do like a musical chairs, but something on the ground. I have these rubber mats that I toss on the ground and put right words on them or sentences. And
Mhm.
I'll play music, and then wherever it stops, they read that one and we take it out.
Yep.
That keepy uppy is another fun active one. I got an emoji squish ball that sticks to the wall. So I put index cards on the wall and they throw it at the index card and read the one on there. So lots of things you can do with movement. I can't go
Yeah.
through all of them here, but I have on my Instagram, I have games. Are you hearing feedback or just me?
I can't hear any
You're
feedback.
okay? Okay, good. I'm hearing some feedback, so I was hoping it didn't sound bad on your end.
No, no, it's
So
fine.
in my Instagram games highlights, you can come and find all kinds of things. And I also have a Facebook group, the Reading Playground, where I share games. So I want this in your hands. I want you to just grab it and go.
And
You
what's your
mentioned,
Instagram handle just before you
oh,
go
yeah,
on?
yeah. Spark Joy with Amy, all one
Okay,
word. Spark Joy with
beautiful.
Amy on Instagram.
Great.
You had mentioned doing obstacle courses. Yes, like putting things in different spots in the obstacle course to read as they go. I did one where I taped off the room like it was a James Bond, lasers everywhere, and they had to go over and under to get to the next reading card.
Yes.
And then I have an A to Z playbook in my store as well, which is all kinds of activities, particularly if you have littles that are in the pre-reading stage. Have a multitude of activities with different learning styles from A to Z, literally. So
Yeah, right. Love that.
there's so much you can do with play. So I really invite anyone who has a question like, hey, I'm trying to work on this. Um, let me know and I will be happy to like generate some game ideas with you.
So
Hopscotch,
good.
yeah, Hopscotch is another one, and I have a tutorial that shows how any game is like a glass. This glass can have water, can have milk, a milkshake, a smoothie, it can have beer, wine, whatever.
Yep.
That's what a game template is. We just plug in whatever your child is working on. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, why I love her brain so much. You can see because my brain does not work like this, and I love the fact that you can look at anything and take it and shape it into a game and make it work for kids and keep them engaged, right? Because I think that that's what a lot of parents come up against, where they're feeling like my kid, and I see this not necessarily just with neurodivergent children, right?
Nope.
I see a lot, obviously, because that is my main field of families that I'm talking to. But so many parents come to me and they just like, all I hear is we're getting negative feedback from teachers. The child isn't sitting still and being able to, focus and do the things that they're expected to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But as we know, school, like, school's a funny thing. I I look at school and I just don't think that it was built for neurodivergent children, right? It's just not. And it's not built because, like I said, they can't sit still. They don't learn the way that a typical child learns. So we're trying to get this neurodivergent child and try to fit them and push them through this, this typical box,
Yep.
and it's just really difficult. And then we wonder why everyone's stressed. The child is stressed, the parents are stressed, the teachers are stressed, like everybody is stressed out because
Yeah.
it's just not working. So, like, I
Mhm.
love the flexibility of homeschool. And I'm always open to questions for parents who
Mhm.
have said to me, like, what does that look like? But our experience hasn't been great. It's been an interesting journey. And if you had to ask me when my son was first born that I would be a homeschooling mum, I would have laughed at you and be like, yeah, all right, no problems. Yeah, whatever. Because I just didn't think that that was even something in my future, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, when we get a diagnosis of autism, I think parents need to look at all the options, right? And I'm not saying homeschooling doesn't need to be forever either. It could
Mhm.
be that you might take your child and bring them home and homeschool for a certain amount of time. And then that child might come out of fight or flight and then say, you know what, I'm ready, I'm happy, I miss my friends, I want to go back. No
Yeah.
problems. But I do see
Mhm.
a lot of children who are in huge amounts of fight or flight and freeze.
Yeah.
Going into the schooling system and not being able to cope. And then that's when you see a lot of the school can't. It's where you see, do you know what school can't is?
School what?
School can't. So
Mm.
it's like cannot, which is basically
Oh,
like school refusal. So
yeah.
so not wanting to go to school, huge
Mhm.
amounts of anxiety,
Mhm.
obviously the sore tummy and like crying and just all of those things. This is not the
Yeah.
way that learning looks,
Yeah.
right? Learning is
Exactly.
fun. It is like, and when it is fun, you actually retain a lot of information. It's
Yes.
incredible. Because if you think
Mhm.
back, I don't know about you, Amy, but like I didn't just I'm not a very good singer and I'm not a very good I don't play an instrument, but I can tell you what the lyrics are to Salt and Pepper Push It, right? Because I love that song. I love that song, right? It's I learnt it in a fun way and it was fun and it
That's
was
so
joyful and
cute.
it was like you were being silly, but you remember all the lyrics. If
Yep.
you had to ask me what an algebra question was, I would say to you, I don't really know. No.
No. Yeah.
Okay, back to the questions. What do parents do when they feel like they're completely discouraged in the homeschooling situation, or that their child is finding it very hard to learn, even in a mainstream or a special needs setting? What would you say to parents in that situation?
Yeah. First of all, just oof. I hear
Mm,
that. It's hard. And I just want to honor that it's hard. It's really hard, especially if your child's in a school and you're getting reports that their behavior is not doing well and you don't
yeah.
have control over their behavior at school. Um, One of the things that I wanted to talk to too, Natalie, as you were just talking, is that, and this happened with me and my son in kindergarten. He was first placed in a kindergarten class, lovely teacher, but she literally just sat and talked to them for a half an hour the first start of the day. Didn't have them
Mhm.
singing, didn't have them engaged, and then you have kids start rolling around on the floor, and
Yep.
and then you're going to call their behavior a problem. And I went to the principal, was like, "You're not going to call my son's behavior a problem because he's
Yeah.
bored. They
Yeah.
literally have to self-stimulate." And I was talking to my son last night, who's 20, and he was saying, "Mom, we are in a completely different generation where,
Mm.
we have these." He was telling me about, is it Cocoa Melon or something? There's
Oh,
some,
yeah. Yep.
yeah.
I remember
So,
those. Yeah.
like, kids are being stimulated so highly in
Hmm.
that, and then you bring them to the school and you want to talk at them. It's
Hmm.
not gonna work. It's just not. They have to move their bodies. They have to be engaged. They have to engage their curiosity. They have to play. So
Yeah.
what I always say is, I want to take a look. I want to take a look at the under under the hood. Like, is
Yeah.
play going on? If you're struggling with your child, if they're really resistant, there's tantrums and tears. Let's go back to, what is their learning style, and are you meeting that? And
Hmm.
how can you incorporate play? Because I work with kids. Play is not just for little babies, it's not just for little kids.
Hmm.
I work with a 16-year-old right now. I had a 12-year-old this summer. Let me tell you, they love play. I love play. You
Yeah.
love play. We just
Yeah.
lose track of it sometimes. And we've
Yeah.
accepted that this is the norm, that it's
Hmm.
okay to make our kids have to sit still and cross their legs and da da da. It's not working out.
Yep.
So if your child is really miserable, they're literally getting sick because they can't fit into this box. They're not made to. It's not the way
No.
we're designed. And
Yeah.
I'm sad. I feel like our education system is failing our kids because it's expecting them to learn one way,
Hmm.
and if they don't, they're considered a problem. So
Mm.
what do
Oh.
I say? I say pivot to play, work with your teacher, talk to your teacher, say, "I see the homework coming back. We're going to do it. Is it okay if we put it into a game? He's still going to practice all of these concepts. We'll take a picture or we'll sign a note off or whatever." But the bottom line is, we want your kid to know these skills. So if you can
Mm.
do it in a playful way, pivot to play for sure. And also get that support, like you said, Natalie, especially if you're homeschooling. I mean, and neurodivergent kids, it is isolating. You feel all alone. You feel like nobody understands you. So Natalie and I are here to reach out our hand and say, "We are here. We don't want you to be alone. Get
Mm.
support."
Yeah.
And it means everything to know that you're not alone. It means everything to hear, like, your child is perfectly placed right where they're at right now.
Yes.
I said that to a mom today, and she was just like, "Oh, okay." Like, there's so much self-doubt that we have. So getting that support, hearing some feedback, hearing like, "You're okay, your child's okay, you're great." We
Yeah.
can help move them in the direction you want to go. What are your goals for your child? And get really clear with that.
Yeah, and I think we do need that reminding though, Amy. Like as parents,
Mhm.
especially as
Mhm.
mums,
Mhm.
we're doing 50,000 things all at once. We've got
Yeah.
50,000 tabs open in our brain and we can't, we don't, we're always so busy, 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 busy that we don't have the time to actually recognize when that wonderful thing happens or how far our child has actually come, right?
Right. Yeah.
You just take for granted that your child is
Mhm.
reading, but you're like, but yeah, but he doesn't sit still. But he's reading,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But he can't, okay, can't
Mm.
still. Or,
Yeah.
this child is a beautiful painter, or he can create the most amazing Lego designs, but
Hmm.
he has trouble talking or being able
Yeah.
to, make a full conversation. Like we meet sometimes, especially over here in Australia, where we have, which we are so grateful for, the NDIS platform, which essentially is a government funded organization that helps families with children who are on the autism spectrum. And you know, in that, you go into these meetings and you literally talk about all the deficits of your child. For 2 hours, sometimes you will literally talk about how they cannot do this and this and this and this and this. And you
Yeah.
leave it, and it happens a lot when it's in therapy, like speech therapy or OT. You're always looking at
Mm.
the child from the deficit point of view, as opposed
Yes.
to what can they actually do? Like they can
Yes.
actually do quite a
Yeah.
lot. So
Yes.
I think we miss
Absolutely.
that as parents sometimes.
Thank you so much for bringing that to light. It is so important, and our kids deserve to feel that way. They
Mm.
deserve to feel valued just for being, for who they are, for what their strengths and talents
Mhm.
and interests and hobbies are, and just embrace right where they're at, and then just move forward from there. But
Mhm.
I particularly found this was a big um, pillar of my philosophy as we left the quarantine. We went back to school, and the schools didn't change at all. They taught the same thing at the same time. And then they wondered why the kids weren't able to participate in the same way that they used to before they lost a year and a half of schooling, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
So calling kids behind? Heck no, they're not behind. They're perfectly where they're at. The system's behind in catching up to what we actually need to do. So let's
Yes.
stop blaming the child and let's just celebrate who they are, what they know, and every little bit of progress. That's in my next little thing I was going to talk about too.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. And then we're gonna do rapid
Segues
fire
right into
questions.
my final point, which is stay the course. So
Mhm.
you were saying at the beginning that you sometimes doubt yourself. Guess what? Teachers, we doubt ourselves too. I was
Mm.
working with a student last year. He came to me in fourth grade, not reading. He didn't know his letter names and sounds yet, so that's where we started. Now, if you want to talk about the word behind, right? Fourth graders typically aren't learning letter names and sounds. So we had a lot of
Mhm.
work to do. But we're not going to judge that that's what he knows. That's just what he knows. So that's where we started. Then we started blending 2-letter words. Then we started blending 3-letter words. And what I mean by that is words like cat, dog, fit, hop. Those are 3-letter words that have one vowel in the middle, and it's the short vowel. And every letter corresponds with the sound that we teach in the alphabet. So you have k, at, cat. So we stayed on CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant words for months and
Mhm.
months and months. And I started to question myself, am I even an efficient teacher? Is this even the right way to do it? But school wasn't doing any better. In fact, they were trying to race on and teach him other things. And I'm like, he doesn't have the foundation for that
Mhm.
yet. There's a
Mhm.
power in yet. Okay. We're not there yet.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I just kept pushing. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. Well, it's so exciting because when he first read his first story of all CBC words, it was unbelievable. I mean, I was doing the hugest happy dance. He's looking at me like, what? Why are you so excited? I'm like, oh my gosh, you're reading. Like it's working. And now it's 6 months after that. And now he is taken off. It's like we just stayed the course at this spot, and I thought, okay, we'll get to the next one and we'll be stuck there for a while. And no, he is just taken off exponentially. I don't even know where these things have come from. Like, how do you all of a sudden know all of these unusual sight words? And I don't know, but he does, and it's amazing. So I just want to encourage you, stay the course as long as it takes. That's where they're at. Wait till they master it and then move on. Or if they master it fast, move on. It's time. Let's
Yeah.
celebrate every stage and just be so proud of every little success and then move forward when it's time. So stay the course. Really
Getting a bit
important.
emotional over here. God, that really hits home for me because I definitely know that feeling when, especially for parents that are listening who have children who are non-speaking, you wait for that moment that they will utter those words, and then we have to like work on those sentence structures and how this is going to work. And so you're holding on to something so tightly, for every little breadcrumb. You're just waiting a little bit more, a little bit more. But yeah, it's so true because when they do get it, because they're storing. I'm a firm believer. I look at my son and I know he is taking in all that information,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Right.
There is no doubt in my mind that he understands everything, but isn't able to verbally say those things just yet. And again, the power of yet, right? So I
Mhm.
know what you're saying, and I hope that parents hear this. I hope parents understand it because it can feel a really like a very dark, lonely road where you're pushing, but you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. And that's just not the case. These kids are retaining so much information, and at the same time, what's the word for it? We just need to believe in their competence, right?
Mhm.
There is
Yeah.
confidence there. Believe that they
Mhm.
can do it
Yep.
because for so many people around them, they believe that they can't do it for whatever reason. But as
Yeah.
parents, we need to believe that they can do it, right?
Yeah.
And it is gonna take time, but they will get there because we need to be their biggest cheerleaders.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, I
oh,
love it.
oh my
And I would
gosh.
say put your blinders on. You have to parent the child you have, right?
Yeah.
You have to parent the child you have. I had a son. We had some really challenging circumstances. We lost his dad when he was 12. Teen years were really super hard. And I had to parent the child that I had and not the one I wish I had, or that other kids, that other people have, or,
Yeah.
Facebook, social media, that can wreck you. So
Yes.
let go of that
It does.
comparison and just love your child right where they're at, who they are, what they have. And I think two things that come up for me. One is start writing down, where are you at and what are your goals? And if
Mm-hmm.
they can help build goals, all the better. If they can't, that's okay. But if
Yeah.
you're starting to take record, take account of where you're at, because it will do you good to look back and go, oh my gosh, a year ago, I forgot we were at this. And
Yeah.
if you keep it in front of you, like, where are you right now? What are we working on? Oh, look, we got it. Just keep
Mm-hmm.
those little goals and keep those, and reward yourself with just the yummy praise of, wow, look at what we're doing. Look at what he's done. Look at what she's done. Look at what they've done. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
really
hear you.
important.
Can you please preach it for the people in the back? Meet your child where they are. Meet your
Yeah.
child where they are. Don't expect that they're going to be further along. Don't
Mhm.
compare. Don't look
Yeah.
for other outside external forces. Just look at this child and let's work on where we are. Because I would hate that if the situation was reversed and someone was looking at us wishing that
Yeah.
we were further along, how bad
Yeah.
we would feel as parents,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially like you go into a
Absolutely.
new job, and the manager's like, come on, you should have already learned that by now. Chop chop, let's go, right? You would feel
Right.
terrible,
Yeah.
right? So let's
And
not put those expectations on our kids.
And we
Okay.
don't, I was just going to say, we don't grow well in that kind of environment,
No.
right? We don't grow well with that thought that we're not good enough. I've seen so many kids, the light dims as they feel that way. And when we
Yeah.
bring it back up through play and success and incremental learning and learning in their style, oh my gosh, they're back. So keep this at the forefront. This is your child.
Yes.
This is how they learn. Praise them, tailor to what they need. And yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, let's do these 5 rapid fire questions. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received about learning?
Oh, about learning. Mm, all I could say is play. It's
I
it's
love it.
really important to play. Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, good. One word to describe your experience with children who learn differently.
They are the most creative, amazing people, and I learned so much from them. So
Mm.
open up your eyes and ears because they have something to share with the world and bring to the world that we need.
Yes, yes. What's your go-to self-care activity?
Mm. Either a walk in nature or a nice hot bath. My
Yes.
body, I can just feel everything. relax when I feel water or dip in the ocean. So water, I feel like water is is the answer to everything.
Yes, yes, definitely. Um, are you an early morning person or a late night person?
No.
No, which one?
No, I'm not. Either.
You're not early morning or you're not a late night.
Neither. I love sleep, so I don't
You
love
are,
waking up early and I don't love staying up late.
oh, you're funny. Okay, good. And what is your favorite learning resource or a website that you would direct parents to?
Well, first I want to send them to sparkjoywithamy.com.
Yes, good,
That's my
good.
personal favorite. And Teachers Pay Teachers is a great website with anything that you want to teach and cover with your child. You can put in that topic, put in their age level or learning level. Age, it doesn't always matter, by the way. Um,
Mhm.
and and also you can filter it to free. So you can get so many free
Yes,
resources there. I adore TPT, Teachers Pay Teachers.
yes, definitely. Love that. Thank you so much for your time, Amy. I have thoroughly
Pleasure.
enjoyed this chat.
Me as
And yeah, we will talk soon.
Great. Thank you so much, Natalie. A joy to be on this journey together. I'm so grateful for you and all that you're doing in the community to support moms with children who have autism. I know that I refer people to you because I know they need your loving care and guidance. So thank you
Oh,
for
thank you.
taking your path to share with others. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. I'll talk to you
All
soon.
right. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Oh, she's gone.